You're listening to Humans in Tech. Our podcast explores today's most transformative technology and the trends of tomorrow, bringing together the brightest minds in and outside of our industry. We unpack what's new in physical access, identity verification, cybersecurity, and IoT ecosystems. We reach beyond the physical world, discuss our digital transformation as a species, and dive into the emerging phygital experience. Join us on our journey as we discover just how connected the future will be and how we will fit into that picture. Your host is Lee Dow, VP of Global Marketing at Identiv.
Thanks for listening in. Today we're joined by Joe Maddox, Identiv's ACES program manager. He's a third-generation Florida Gator, but this fourth-generation Florida State Seminole is not going to hold it against him. ACES is our architects, consultants, and engineers and security program that provides continued education for end users and consultants on the converged nature of IT and physical security. For the last 11 years, Joe's been passionately designing security and telecommunication systems for two large MEP engineering firms and building a technology design group from scratch. It's so nice to have you join our Humans in Tech podcast today, Joe.
I'm really glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to try not to hold the Florida Gator thing against you. We'll see how far we get.
I appreciate that. I'm feeling a little bruised after the spanking that Tennessee finally was able to give us after all these years.
You and Alabama.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We can all agree on our hatred for Alabama, I think. That's where we find common ground.
Amen.
I understand you've only been in the position for a few months. How's it going so far?
Fantastically. It appears that I've joined a winning team with a healthy culture, with people all rowing in the same direction. The more I learn about Identiv and the people in it, the more I like it and them. I think everyone in the workplace dreams of being on a team with winners in a we work hard and play hard environment. And from that point of view, I recommend the Identiv team. For me, the past few months have mostly been evaluation, training, and orientation, but I'm excited to have also been able to drive some tangible results and move our program forward.
You know, for me personally, I started off with the company as a consultant. And one of the things that really attracted me to, joining the team full time is the people. I have so much fun working with the physical access team. It's such a, like you said, a work hard, play hard kind of team. And being able to win and have fun is such a great attribute of that culture.
Yeah, you just don't get that everywhere. Anybody that's been around in the workplace long enough knows that is a rare and beautiful thing. Treasure it. I
completely agree, and like I said, it's one of the main things that attracted me to the role. The ACES program at Identiv was created in about 2019 to focus on building really strong relationships with dedicated integrators, distributors, and dealers, and really build those lasting partnerships with technology leaders. Can you tell us a little bit more about the purpose of the ACES program?
Sure. The program concentrates on educating all architects, consultants, engineers, and designers in the physical security community on the cutting-edge products in Identiv's portfolio while providing resources and technical design help. End users, of course, have very specific needs and concerns. Our authorized integrators have different needs and concerns. National accounts are different from each of those. Identiv has specific specialized support personnel tailored to each of those groups. But having been a specifying consultant myself, I know that the needs of design consultants are different from all of those other groups. And the purpose of the ACES program is to make sure that the specific needs of this specifier community are addressed. Also, since having been a specifying consultant, I can assure you that the manufacturers calling on me that had specific personnel and programs dedicated to the needs of the design community were much more likely to get an audience with me because they made my life easier, my designs better, and ultimately my clients happier. And this is part of the reason I'm so excited about this role, Lee, is because I'm serving a community that I love and respect and providing a service that I believe is critically needed and valuable.
When you talk about those consulting groups, the specifiers, architects, many years ago, I was in Vegas for a trade show, and at the same time, the World of Concrete was going on, and I didn't realize it's one of the biggest trade shows in the world. And when I asked somebody from that show, like, why is this show so big? They were like, well, Lee, because everything starts with concrete. I was like, yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? So like when you're in that world of, being a specifier, an architect, and building things from the ground up, it's just a really interesting space. And I think that the people in that space are very interesting as well, that whole community of specifiers, and the kinds of things that they look for and study, and new technologies and new ways to do things. It's a very interesting segment of our business to be involved in.
It's fascinating, and it was the whole 11 years was a joy to me. And it's funny that you mentioned concrete, not to derail the conversation too much, but when I was on job sites, looking over our work and building the initial relationship with the general contractor who was going to build the project that I participated in designing, watching them talk about the elements of concrete and the different testing and the attention to detail that's required with pouring it, specifying it, getting the right stuff, letting it cure out, and all that. It was just fascinating. It's a deep rabbit hole, and it brought to light to me the same thing you learned, which is everything starts with concrete.
Right. Yeah. And so about 2 years ago, I think, I went to that show, and obviously it was a little smaller because it was pandemic times, but really saw exactly what you're talking about, which is, just if you're not in that industry, it's like you're like, wow, there's really that many like different kinds and different elements and different technologies involved and different processes depending on what you're building. And it's just a world I just had never been exposed to before. But yeah, it's just like everything starts with concrete. So specifically, what are the products that you focus on in Identiv's portfolio?
Well, so my main focus is what you would refer to as our PACS line, the physical access control line, but that extends into physical access control also includes video surveillance. But I'd like to start with a generalization. My favorite thing about, as a rookie to this company, my favorite thing about the Identiv product line is how it truly stands out as an end-to-end solution on multiple fronts, meaning that nearly everything an end user would need for an electronic security system can be procured through Identiv and their integrator and distribution partners. Doesn't have to be in many cases, but it can be if that's desired, which can many people value a one throat to choke approach. At the core of this end-to-end are 3 access control systems, each of them optimized for the needs of specific various end users. Our flagship product is the Velocity Access Control System. Many people know this by its legacy brand name, Hirsch, and it is the gold standard in many federal and commercial installations. It's extraordinarily compatible, configurable, and it's compatible with traditional Wiegand and OSDP readers. And for high security applications, it's one of the very few systems that offers true end-to-end FICAM compliance. Identiv's Freedom Access Control line is lighter in scope, but still an enterprise-grade system with excellent failover capability that is also used in federal and commercial applications. But we also have a value line that honestly I wish I'd known more about when I was a specifier, that is our lowest cost system and perfectly optimized for frugal commercial applications of 32 card readers or less. Speaking of card readers, we also offer our own card readers, and they come in a variety of form factors, protocols, and feature sets for almost any need. Identiv is committed to open industry standards, so our readers are all frequently purchased for use with systems by other manufacturers. And one of the reasons for this is that Identiv's supply chain for all products is in very good shape. In general, we consider a 30-day lead time long for us. And when many other companies are routinely struggling with 6 to 18-month lead times. So design teams with projects that are delayed by the availability of credentials or readers might make themselves heroes by adding Identiv credentials and readers as an approved alternate.
I really think that end-to-end, but doesn't have to be, is so important, right? Because some people really need that end-to-end solution. Some people already have, some entities already have something in place that they need something that it works with. And so, having the ability to do both is probably really important to a specifier.
It is important to a specifier. Keeping it, as a specifier, I felt like for 11 years that I was the owner's advocate. So it's a whole solution for the owner. It's not about me. It's not about loyalty to some company. It's about what is best for the owner. And the owners need flexibility. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the pain point of facility directors is frequently their fire alarm system. And fire alarm systems are extraordinarily proprietary. And once you're locked into a brand X fire alarm system, then only the brand X corporately owned people can work on it. And in your area, those people may be awful, or not the people, but the companies that they're working for may be awful. So you're stuck with that. You've got a whole building with fire alarm system that you can't get reliable service on. That's just a terrible place for a facility director to be. So the fact that you have flexibility in terms of how to put the system together is a real boon to owners.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that would be very beneficial. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was just like, that message really stuck with me, the whole end-to-end yes, but doesn't have to be also yes.
Right, right. So, like for example, with our readers, the reader that most people who have been around for a long time recognize Identiv / Hirsch for is the scramble pad, which is a very unique reader in the industry that allows the combination of a pin plus credential, but it adds the fascinating randomization of the pin pad on every use, rendering shoulder surfing ineffective. But for more traditional type readers, we have our TS line, which is a clean, high tech look, and it's available in all communication and encryption protocols from Legacy Wiegand, OSDP, MyFair, Desfire, and it can be part of an end-to-end FICAM solution, just like our scramble pads. And for budget conscious product projects, we have our Primus line, which is provides entry level security at like a really surprisingly value price. Um, but Identiv is unusually unique among access control companies. I really don't know of perhaps maybe one other that does this. We actually offer credentials as well. The credentials can be plain or they can be printed and programmed. It's a turnkey service, which can eliminate for owners one of the biggest headaches, which is owning your own dye sublimation card printer. I mean, those things are, if you're using one every day and it's a mass production type printer, that's one thing. But if it's one of these things that only gets used occasionally on a desktop somewhere, those can be a maintenance hassle.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea that we can provide that service to end users, I think is kind of wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. So Identiv has a partner portal where partners can get the resources needed to design successful projects. What kind of resources do they have access to?
Well, our partner portal has specific features for different kinds of partners architects, contractors. The ACES, which stands for Architect, Contractor, and Consultant portal, has ready to customize CSI specifications in Word format, graphics content, and product data.
What are the other benefits of the partner program that partners have access to?
The most important benefit is me and our growing ACES team. My phone number and email are the easy button for the design community.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I'm sorry to plagiarize that from Staples, but you got to admit they're right. That's just beautiful.
I actually have one of those buttons.
Awesome.
I forget why I have it or where it came from. I know it's from Staples, but I have it somewhere on my desk. I know it's there.
I hope whoever came up with that got a big bonus.
I know, right? It's clever. How is ACES increasing the value that consultants bring to their customers?
Well, consultants have early and trusted access to owners. Owners benefit from the differentiating features that the Identiv solution offers, and ACES supporting consultants enhances their value, the consultant's value to owners, by presenting those unique benefits to the owners.
And how does ACES educate on products and solutions that increase physical and cybersecurity?
Well, this podcast is the tip of the spear. I mean, this podcast is obviously not ACES specific, but this is the beginning. This is part of the outreach. But day to day, we love webinars, technical meetings, lunch and learns. That's our bread and butter. And we're doing these in person, or if people prefer, we can do them virtually.
So if I want to join the ACES program, how do I do that? And are there any requirements to join?
Well, the big requirement is that people that want to join the ACES program need to be in a security design role with an architect, engineering, or consulting firm that does that kind of work. The portal is not designed for integrators, and it's not designed for the general public.
Okay. Are there any other thoughts you'd like to share with us about ACES? I know, like you said, you're 90 days in. Sounds like a very solid 90 days, though. So what else would you like people to know about the program?
I can't think of a thing. I'm very excited about the program, where we're going, and the product line in general.
Yeah, and like I said, it's such an interesting group of people, a completely different audience in this space, and the way that they like to work with us and communicate with us is very different than some of our other customers and end users. So it's just a very unique and interesting space to be in.
I've already found consultants very receptive to us, and glad to have dedicated resources to help them with this.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Joe, thank you so much for joining us today and informing the audience about Identiv's ACES program.
It's been my pleasure.
And for all of you, if you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe for me. We drop a new episode every Thursday.
The problem isn't security, it's awareness. Velocity Vision is the future of visual surveillance, an intelligent video management solution that delivers real-time situational awareness in an open security platform. Integrate with your existing systems, verify your environment in one pane of glass, and increase the efficiency of your security operation. Get full control of your environment when and where you need it. Learn more at Identiv.com. Get access control anywhere, anytime, for less money out of pocket. Highly Secure Freedom Cloud is a cloud-based access control as a service offered through a cost-effective subscription model, allowing users to control, manage, and maintain their physical access control systems via Freedom's intuitive, always up-to-date, browser-based web administration. Learn more at Identiv.com. Physical security, identity verification, the IoT. The hyperconnectivity of our lives will only grow more pervasive. As technology becomes more automated and experiences more augmented, it's up to us to preserve our humanity and use new tools and trends for good. The only question is, are we up for the challenge?